I'm Robert with Knowmium, and we're taking a look at Mentimeter.com. Mentimeter is an online presentation tool that allows you to show slides with images and text. It also allows you to do polling and have Q&A sessions with your participants. We'll take a look at creating different slides in Mentimeters, and at the end, presenting those slides to our participants. One of the great things about Mentimeter is that because it's a third-party platform, you don't have to run it through your virtual training platform or your virtual meetings platform. So for example, if you're using Zoom and you don't want to present within Zoom, you can have your participants go to Mentimeter and join your presentation, pushing slides, pushing Q&A, and pushing polls to them and their device. They can join on a browser, a phone, or a tablet. I really like the phone option because it allows them to keep their virtual training platform full screen and participate in some of the interactions on their personal device. So let's get started. I've logged into Mentimeter and I can immediately add a new slide. I choose the slide type and I'm going to go ahead and start with something simple, the image slide. Now, Mentimeter, as you notice, gives me this 6-digit code when I start adding slides, and that's the code that my participants will use later when they log in. But I have to be presenting this for them to use it. So they can't join before I'm ready. They can't go on to the next slide or the next question before I'm ready. Now, I can choose a file for my computer, or what I've done is I'm just going to drag and drop an image, and you'll see it comes up here in the middle, and that is what my participants will see when I present this slide to them. There are some options like adding a video, and I can choose different reactions that I want to appear on my participant's device, and they can click these different icons to give me a little bit of feedback as the host, or if those are a distraction, we can take them all away. There are some different things we can do in terms of themes. I like to use these white backgrounds, but for darker rooms, we might want to use these darker backgrounds. And when we use these themes, these will affect every single slide within the presentation. So for today, I'm going to keep it that nice, bright white background. As I go to add another slide, I'm going to choose another image slide. And to give an example of an image that I've created, and I'll upload it. And what this does is this allows me to edit my images and slides so I don't have to deal with Mentimeter's limited text and formatting options. Let me show you what those look like. If I go to add slide again, I can go to bullet points with an image. I can take that original image, I can drop it, it will add it on that slide, but it keeps the bullets on the page. Now, there's not a lot of formatting options with these bullets. So if I want to use certain fonts, certain colors, I may want to edit an image as I've already done before I go into Mentimeter. Going back to adding another slide, if I want, I can have a heading with a subheading, which is quite boring, or I can have more text, which is even more boring. Just be careful how much you're giving your participants to read on the screen. When I'm adding slides, if I'd like, I can just copy that slide and duplicate it. So if I have edited any of these options, like these emoji reactions, or I've used some other customization tools, I am free to copy those to the next slide if I want to keep them. Otherwise, as you might have noticed, these slides that I'm adding as new slides keep that heart emoji, and I may or may not want that, but I can always go into the content and I can delete that anytime I want. I can also delete slides that I don't need anymore, choosing yes, I do want to delete it. So let's go back here and add some different kinds of slides. Here, let's take a quick look at a multiple choice poll. If I want to know their favorite food. I might want to give them a description if it requires some explanation, and then I can give them these different choices. And if I want more than two, I can add a third one. One thing we can do when we are in a multiple choice slide is we can choose if I want that to be a bar graph, a donut, a pie chart, or a scatter plot with dots. Taking a look at some of these other options, one of the most popular options in Mentimeter has been the word cloud. And what this does is it allows my participants to type words, in this case, 3 words, 4 words. I can give them 5 words, and it will put them all together on a big canvas that I could screenshot and save later, or just display in real time to my participants. Notice there's also a profanity filter if you're dealing with any jokers in the room. And you can also show different correct answers, show results in percentages, and there are many other options to play around with. There's open-ended questions. There's scales. I really like the scales if I want them to measure things. So let's imagine that we watched a presentation and I wanted them to rate voice. I wanted them to rate body language, and I wanted them to rate the visuals or PowerPoints that they've used. And instead of strongly disagree, I might change it to bad and great. And they use a sliding scale from 1 to 5 to measure those. I can use that as a sliding scale, or I can choose that to be a spider chart. Moving along, taking a look at a couple of other options. Ranking is great. We can have them choose different images. Instead of choosing a word like pizza, we could show an image of a pizza. We can allow them to have Q&A and to build over time any questions that they have that they want us to answer. Moving down, there are a few advanced slides at the bottom. We can allow our participants to rank out of 100 different points, different items. So who are different great speakers? We might have Gates, Jobs, Obama, and Brene Brown. And then of course, I can keep adding more and more options, allowing them to rank them in order. The 2x2 grid is a great option, especially if we have teams or we have different variables. So if we had team performance, we could have them rate speed, and the vertical axis, we could have them rate decisions. So here at the top, we might choose, instead of item 1, team 2, or if we were dealing with individuals, maybe there was Jason and maybe there was Jenny, and they're going to be able to use sliding scales on a value of 1 to 10 to give them some different ways to view maybe different performances, what they've observed. We also have these different grid backgrounds using the 2x2, or we can take this to a much more visual level, depending on what you think is best for those participants. Final feature in Mentimeter to look at is quiz completion. This is where we can create a competition for our different participants. So if we're taking a look at just multiple choice answers, who was first to finish the race? We have Jason again, we have Jenny, and we have John. And of course, I can add more options. Now, I need to be sure to click which is the correct answer. And I can give my participants a time to answer, in this case, just 15 seconds. I can definitely extend that longer. And I can also add different images here if I want to go back and add an image to be displayed in that different poll. It automatically gives me a leaderboard after each question. Now I can remove that leaderboard and put it back after every 5 questions, just as an example. So let's take a look from the beginning what this looks like when we present it, not only as the administrator, but also as the participant. So I'm going to drag in another window here. And we'll just keep the participant view right here at the bottom right-hand corner. Now, as mentioned, I'm going to, well, let's go ahead. We'll go here to present. And this is what I can verbally give my participants by saying menti.com and that 6-digit code. I like to put it in the chat box, but I also like to put this as a share screen view in my virtual platform. What I mean is that I can share the view of my administrator view, which includes the website and it includes that 6-digit code. It also can include the results that my participants may not already see. So I'm going to go ahead and add 15, 19, 44 as the participant, submit that, and already it's ready to go. We'll make this a little bit bigger just to give a little bit of a better visual there of what that looks like. Now, going back to the administrator view, I'm going to go to my next slide and you'll see that it pushes it directly to my participants. I can also go back if I want to repeat something. So imagine your participants on a virtual platform watching you, the facilitator, but at the same time being directed to their device or to their other browser window whenever you want them to see new content. As we move forward, you'll see the different slides we created. Here's the bullets with image. Now, depending on the view, you'll notice my administrator view and the participant view is a little bit different, but the content is the same. There's my slide with a heading, and I can choose as the participant to say, yes, I like that, or I love that. And then we finally got to some of our polls. Now, here, what is our favorite food? Let's go ahead and we'll pick curry. We submit that. And as the administrator, I will start seeing the results filter in. And I've chosen to use this as a scatter plot. My participants don't see those results yet. So in this case, if I wanted all of my results to be seen by my participants, I'm going to then share that portion of my screen on my virtual platform. As we go to the next slide, you'll see the word cloud option. As a participant, I'll just start typing some words. And I can submit those, and these will appear on the administrator view. And I can, again, share all of these results through a screen capture. I can send that as a file, or I can just share the live view from my administrator's window through my virtual platform. Moving along, we saw how we might rate different people with voice. I thought their voice was great, but I thought their body language was a little lacking. I can skip some of these if the administrator has given me the options to skip. In this case, I will answer it, I will hit submit, and we can see how that's plotted. Moving along as the administrator. If I want to rate different speakers out of 100, you can see here, I've given Gates 40 points, I've given Jobs 10 points, I've given Obama 10 points, and I've given Brene Brown the rest of my points with nothing in item 5. And again, the administrator view sees the results, which I can share at any time. Finally, we had this plot where I said team 1, they were really, really fast, but their decisions were a little lacking. Team 2, they were also very fast, but team 2, they made great decisions. Jason had average speed and average decisions. And Jenny, she was our champion of the day, 10 out of 10. Submit that. And again, these results are going to be different based on how many participants we actually have. If we have 30 people completing this, the plot that you see now is going to be an average of all 30 different answers from those different participants. I've entered my name as Robert in the participant box, and it's telling me to get ready for the quiz competition. As the administrator, I'm going to start that quiz, and you see in the participant box, it says answer fast to get more points. Who was the first to finish the race? It's counting down, and I have to choose Jason, Jenny, or John. We'll go with Jenny. And see how you did. It tells me how many seconds, and then as the administrator, it either waits for the timer to close, which was 15 seconds in this case, or after all the participants have answered, it doesn't take the entire 15 seconds. It will go ahead, it will show me the results, and then I can, as the administrator, see the leaderboard, which there was only one participant, but also, if I have multiple participants, this is another place where I can screen share these results and keep that competition alive with my participants. This has been Mentimeter, how to create different slides, how to present them, and what it looks like to our participants. Have fun with it, play around with it, and one more tip. If you are presenting to different audiences, let's say you have a live audience and a virtual audience, and you have people who maybe are just listening in through audio and they don't have the full screen functions. As long as they have a device with them, you can push these slides, these polls, and these quizzes and competitions to all of them at the same time. We hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you.